Previously in Hedge Knights, a mysterious blossom of a mythical ambrosia sprouted within the keep walls. Further efforts to expand into the hillside was expedited by Tangier. Judea became pregnant. A forge was constructed to enable the smelting of metals. The squires designated Tangier their shepherd and Megahoof their leader. A group of young atlets begged for alms, and we supplied them. An experiment regarding the newly cleaned soil around the strange and twisted trees began, and a young child showed up at our doorstep, seemingly orphaned, and we took her in. Episode 3: Visitors. The 5 squires reassess their priorities moving forward. They had thought that the members that were going to join them would be able-bodied combatants ready to take on the visitors. But this has not been the case. Instead, they've been visited by children, and one has even joined. They affectionately have called her Madsy, for it is crazy to traverse the polluted wilds on your own. Tangier makes a small request of Madsy. Would she be willing to part with her mining pick? And she agrees. This will help Tangier expand into the foothills of their keep. Plans to mine rapidly are underway. Megahoof realizes that instead of focusing on military industries like smelting iron, he'll need to rethink priorities. They'll need to build a schoolhouse for Madsy. They thought they had a little bit more time with this task, as Judea's pregnancy hadn't progressed very far, not yet. But no, they will need to immediately accommodate Madsy in her education. Another thing has become very clear. The squires need to organize space to be used more efficiently. Designated shelves for ingots, components, tar, coal, and wood need to be made to keep the base from being cluttered. Tangier decides that instead of continually chipping away at the southern Iron Mountain, expanding to the foothills of the keep is even more important. Additionally, Lazarus seems pretty capable at sowing the crops, so they suggest that Sapo might be responsible for some of the stone cutting. If they're to expand deeper into the keep, they will need cut stone to do so. Megahoof points out some mining tips to Tangier. Having researched quarrying, perhaps these tips might help. Tangier thinks on it as she sleeps. Another thing the group had noted is that although their keep is built into a slate and limestone mountain, there is granite around, and granite is a tougher stone, able to be built into stronger walls. So Sapo changes gears, starts to cut the granite. As the squires get to know Madzi, they quickly realize that she is not from their communities or any other outlying communities around their coastal home. She speaks about people they don't know. She uses words they're unfamiliar with. Much of the lands have not been surveyed, and communities have lost contact with one another. Wherever the refugees came from, and wherever she came from, is unfamiliar to them. She doesn't speak much about her home, or about her parents, or about her family. These are traumas probably best left alone. She does seem able-bodied, with good work ethic, bright and capable, and they would like to provide her with a good education. Perhaps she can even be a caretaker of Judea and Megahoof's soon-to-be child. The base is being further organized. Tars stored on shelves, iron ingots in their own designated spots, components, ores, additional wood for the fueled stoves. Megahoof and Judea makes plans for the cut granite stones, proper defenses to be designated. With the understanding of how to make more complex furnitures, immediate plans for a tiny little school desk is laid out. This should help Madzi get the education that she was clearly deprived. A small, modest schoolhouse planned to be built, with blackboards for their education and a school desk with chairs. It's a strange thing to have right next to their forges and smelters, but the squires don't have the luxury of space. Madsy shadows Lazarus as Lazarus harvests the rice out in the fields. She seems fascinated. Clearly, whatever community she came from didn't do much agriculture. Lazarus wonders if she's also part of a coastal community that relied on fish and scavenging. Or maybe even hunting. This was not something that the squires believed in, but they understand that it is a pretty good source of food if you're desperate. This was a sound that the squires had heard a few times before. The war horns of the visitors. They were here. Megahoof wakes to the sound of the war horns, and Tangier quickly switches from pick to sword. They're being invaded from the west. All of them spring into action and exit the keep through the south gate. Much effort will be taken to try to keep Judea safe, for she is pregnant. But even then, every able-bodied Adlet must fight. Due to the rapid arrival, Tangier didn't even have the time to switch weapons and uses the mining pick. One visitor down, 2 more to go. A lucky hit pierces the heart, even through the thick iron plate. And the last visitor seen to the north fleeing. Megahoof speaks to the other 4 squires that even though these visitors have arms and armor, these are cursed objects, not to be used by any of them. They were very lucky to have walked away from this battle unharmed. Additional defenses are paramount. If they are to survive the horrors of the deep woods, they will need strong walls, embrasures, and better bows. Balancing the demands for a schoolhouse and education for children will be difficult when ramped up military is so required in these lands. Judea lays out a plan in order to have a more defensible gate, using the technology that they have recently unlocked. She points out that using arrow loops and bottlenecks, they can funnel these visitors to a quick death. Megahoof considers these plans carefully. Maybe the western entrance of their newly excavated foothills can accommodate such a defense. They'll have to tell Tangier to mine quicker in the morning. News that they are sure Tangier does not want to hear. The flax, hay grass, and hops ripen in the late summer sun. The third sowing of the rice well underway. Lazarus also notes that the rice they leave outside for the wild animals is being eaten at an ever-increasing rate. Whatever those weird and twisted trees are doing to the lands, absorbing the pollution, the animals know it too. The amount of animals spotted on the horizon double in number since their arrival. After having spent the morning teaching Madzi, Tangier plans to start to mine the western gate of the foothills. Sappho works diligently to carve up the granite chunks into usable blocks for their embrasure walls. Megahoof works to understand brewing and hopes that the soon-to-be harvested hops will bring them some comfort in the cold winter months. Next, they consider trying to get better bows for their own defenses. There's not a lot of timber to be used in these woods, but what little timber they have could be repurposed to strike down monstrous visitors. Lazarus notes that the ambrosia looks quite ripe, but they'll wait until the ambrosia berries reach maximum size. With the recent raid of the visitors, the squires worry that although life seems more comfortable now than ever before, that a lot of violence might beset them soon. Mojo and Lily are running out of hay. Soon they'll have to designate a pile of rice set aside for their bison companions. With the production of iron well underway, Megahoof thinks it might be prudent to have designated stone cutting equipment to be able to speed up Sapo's production of stone blocks. A stone cutter's table has been planned next to the school in hopes of making it easier for Sapo and others to process the chunks. The experiment to sow crop circles around the pollution-absorbing trees has proven successful. The rices have grown, and plans are hatched by Megahoof, perhaps use this property to their advantage. Tangier has managed to mine almost clear through the stony mountain, readying their western entry gate as a means of defense against visitor raids. Lily has finally given birth and is given a fresh shearing in celebration. The new wools might be able to be used to clothe Madsy. Her clothing is nearly falling off, full of holes, tatters, and tears. The new bison calf will be given a naming ceremony soon. New plans for a western gate are well underway. they will incorporate arrow loops in order to shoot ingressing invaders from protected area. Without a moment's notice, a new raid party forms on the horizon. The base is currently left open, revealed to the elements. So immediately, Judea plans to patch the hole, for now, a temporary wall to enclose Madzi from harm. Chandir switches from pick to sword, and as soon as the hole is patched, the Adlets will first strike against these wicked visitors inhabiting the southern Iron Mountains. They tell Madzi to shut the door behind them and to stay inside no matter what. Megahoof ventures out front, going deep into the marshes for a better view. 5 of them, he remarks, a larger raid party than last. He attempts to antagonize them with a first shot, aiming for their glowing red eyes. They seem unfazed, even if visibly bleeding. A few of the visitors push towards Megahoof, and he backs up to friendly cover. The raid is underway. Lured by Megahoof, thinking that he was alone, the first of the new raid party has fallen. Judea is not quick underfoot while in second trimester, so much effort must be made to keep her safe from harm. Megahoof attempted to talk Judea out of joining this fight, but she would not hear any of it. She said that she must be willing and able to fight for a future for their young one, regardless of the risks. The group used the thick marshes as a way to prevent the visitors from easily being able to reach their position. For it takes time to trek through such muck and mire. Finally, the visitors tire of the barrage of arrows and form an assault. Judea and Megahoof strike down another one of the enemies, and even though they finally reach Judea's position, they turn to flee. Quickly assessing their wounds, much medicine will have to be dispatched and quick. Megahoof says that he'll finish off the last of the invaders while they quickly patch up and triage the injuries. Just like last time, not a stitch of fabric nor ounce of metal will be liberated from these raiders. Most of the bleeding wounds have been patched, and Tangier thinks it's prudent to give some calming and encouraging words to her fellow squire in arms. The temporary wall planned to be demolished, and the western entrance prioritized for future defenses, to make raids like that easier to deal with. Some of the rice out in the farm fields is starting to rot due to neglect. The entire hamlet will prioritize hauling the rice into storage before it decays back into the earth. Additionally, the hay has run out, and rice will also be designated for the ever-growing herd of bison. With the rice paddock fully cleared, they return and rest, while Megahoof teaches young Madzi about research and science. Plans for a tailoring bench in order to clothe young Madzi is underway, as well as a spinning wheel, because soon they'll have flax. The new stonecutter's table quickly expedites the work that Sapo has cutting stone. And although the wounded would love to rest and recuperate, they know they do not have the luxury of time. Megahoof hatches a very interesting plan. Might it be possible to try to clean up the pollution and relocate it to these strange trees that seem to absorb it? Would this be possible for them? He wonders. A small designated experimental area of the western gate is now set up to be cleaned by them to see if it is in fact possible. A hay harvest and flax harvest well underway. There is currently nowhere to store hops, hay, and flax, so expanded shelves will need to be designated. A temporary shelf to store it, at least for now, under construction. Megahoof points out how to build a functional fermenting barrel. This is planned once the western gate is finished, in celebration. Still, much of the farm fields have yet to be cleared. Megahoof stops research in order to have it designated as an urgent priority. Additionally, while cleaning up the farm fields, it is noted the ambrosia seems ready to be harvested. Megahoof knows that because they have never tasted such a luxurious treat, some sort of plan and policy should be devised in order to divvy it up evenly. The adlets will be allowed ambrosia, but only once every 3 days, and only if they feel particularly down. Beer, on the other hand, will be allowed once every 2 days. Well, not for young Madzi, for she is too young. The spinning wheel and tailoring bench has finally been constructed. Linens are planned to be spun on the wheel, and this can be used as cloth for young Madzi in tattered clothes. The Western Gate construction is well underway. Every other squire watches Tangier as she wolfs down meal after meal, forcing Sapo to continue cooking throughout the day. They think of a fitting punishment. What could they do to punish Tangier for such indulgence and realize that without Tangier, this mountain keep would not have been possible. So although it frustrates the others to watch their work and toil go to waste, they realize Tangier has earned it, and they let it go. The high-pitched squeals can be heard deep into the night. The abundance of small critters has attracted a warg, an animal the squires had not seen for generations. Predators like the warg rely upon an abundance of prey. This must signal that the world is healing. So although they do not like to see the animals out in the wild preyed upon, it is a good indicator of perhaps an ecological balance to come. Now that some basic bow technology has been well understood, plans for food preparation are well underway. Winter is coming, and without the ability to preserve foods, the squires may yet feel the pangs of hunger. The western gate is nearly complete, and the squires contemplate their plans for the future. Thank you for tuning in to the third episode of Hedge Knights. If you have any feedback for me, please let me know in the comments below. If you would like to support me as a content creator, please either consider joining my Patreon page at patreon.com/Rhadamant or joining my gaming community, Rhadamant.com/Discord. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode, or perhaps another stream of mine. Farewell, my fellow adlets,